Hey everybody, I'm Chris. Thanks for watching our video. We're 3 months into the 2021 regular season, which is a long way into this year, but certainly way too early to render final judgment on the rookie class, the class of 2021 rookie running backs. I don't think it's too early to ask the question based on what we've seen so far. Do we think that the NFL teams would select the rookie running backs in the same order as they selected them back in April? So that's what we're going to take a look at today, break down a little film, and talk about these rookie running backs. Here is how the draft for running backs went back in April of 2021. Najee Harris was the Doak Walker Award winner, the consensus best running back in the draft. The Steelers took him 24th overall. Remember that the Jags used one of their Jalen Ramsey draft picks to take Travis Etienne, who couldn't make it out of August because of a Liz Frank injury. Obviously, this is not going to be a fair assessment of where he might get drafted if we did it all over again, because we've never seen him play an NFL game that mattered. Javonte Williams then was the only second-round running back of the April draft. And then we waited for the third round for Trey Sermon, who has subsequently been completely buried in San Francisco. And then 5 running backs went in the 4th round, Michael Carter highest among them. If we could do it over again, here's the top 5 I think we should have gotten in reverse order. Actually, I've started out by lying. My number 5 running back on this list would be Khalil Herbert, who went with a 6th round compensation pick, 217th overall. We only got a brief taste of Herbert while David Montgomery was injured, but we did, on this channel, a whole video that dug into what Herbert had shown. We will link to it here. The Bears certainly have not seemed inclined to use Herbert in any kind of mix with Montgomery just yet, but that doesn't change how much I liked the glimpses we did get. But just so you don't feel shortchanged, I'll tell you who my number 6 running back would be, Elijah Mitchell, the other running back drafted by the 49ers, 6th round, 194th overall pick. As of our recording this, he's second among rookie running backs in rushing yards and scrimmage yards. For fantasy football, you certainly can't complain, and the Niners have to be happy too. Mitchell has 27 carries in each of his past 2 games. I'll get into why some of Mitchell's numbers are sort of fool's gold in a second, but this early 6-yard gain in Week 12 encapsulates the good and some limitations when it comes to Mitchell. Surprise, the 49ers are zone blocking on this carry, kind of what they do. The linemen all fire left with the intention of standing up defenders and giving the running back multiple options to make one cut and go. The O-lineman that you'll see here not do his job is right guard Daniel Brunskill. He fires left. He's supposed to shove number 92, defensive tackle James Lynch, to the left, but you'll see Lynch beats his block. Here's something Mitchell does well and consistently. You can see him planting his right foot to cut even as Lynch is beating his block, which tells me that Mitchell has good vision. He's translating what's happening right in front of him and processing that information quickly. Now, something Mitchell isn't as good at is what comes next. He's made his first cut, and he sees number 55 Anthony Barr in his new path, and once again, he processes that and realizes he's got to go left. That's when the eventual tackler Harrison Smith comes his way. A special player with special lateral agility, he might bounce that again to the left. Khalil Herbert, to me, showed that he has that one final move. Number 4 on my list that we're going to get to in a minute definitely does. With Mitchell, I think that's sort of his limit. Now, Mitchell has gotten some amazing blocking this year, and I'll get to that. But if we go back to Week 1, okay, this is an insanely large hole to run through, no question. But if Mitchell had a calling card at all as a prospect out of Louisiana Lafayette, it was decent, if not exactly star quality, speed. And here we have a good NFL test right away. A safety tries to take an angle on you as you break into the clear, and does he misjudge because he hasn't accounted for how fast you are? And in this case, number 25 Will Harris definitely does misjudge. Another example of this on a rainy Monday game against the Colts. Ignore for a second how much room Mitchell gets near the line and just watch him take on safety Andres Sendejo, number 42. Not a great player, but not slow. And Mitchell clearly shows he's got the gas to set up Sendejo and sprint around him, and it winds up in a touchdown. Now, Mitchell can finish off a run. He's direct, and he definitely wants to be physical, but he's a smaller back without any real extreme athletic traits. And when things aren't blocked up, as on this 3rd and 1, generally he's not going to move the pile. The fact is, stats are a difficult way to judge in Mitchell's case because his line is wrecking people, running inside zone over and over and making it so that sometimes Mitchell doesn't even really have to make his one cut and go. He can just go. You can see he routinely gets so much time to gather himself and find a lane and doesn't usually do that much special with that lane. I think he's another in a long line of just fine 49ers running backs. And they will get people super excited because of their numbers and then eventually and kind of quickly get kind of discarded for a replaceable model. Tevin Coleman, Raheem Mostert, Alfred Morris, Jeff Wilson. So I'm going to put Elijah Mitchell 6th on this list of the rookie running backs in my redraft of them, with Khalil Herbert 5th. And number 4 on my list of running backs I'd take if we could have a 2021 NFL draft do-over. I referred to him earlier. The quickest running back we've seen come out of this draft. Remember, Travis Etienne hasn't played yet. Spoiler alert, Etienne's not making my list. I haven't seen him play yet, right? But I've got Michael Carter at number 4. We know Carter suffered a high ankle sprain a couple of weeks back, and he's on injured reserve, but he popped off the tape right away as a rookie, and I think he's got a good future ahead of him. Obviously, if I'm calling Elijah Mitchell on the smaller side, then Carter is just small. He's 5'8". They say over 200 pounds. Okay, maybe. But if Mitchell doesn't quite have that lateral burst when he gets to the next level, one look at this September run will tell you Carter does. This is a well-blocked, winding run that gets Carter to the second level, but watch him encounter Patriots defensive back Jalen Mills. It's true, Mills sort of does get blocked in the back here, but the fact is Carter can convert vision to deed and adjust laterally in a heartbeat, quick lateral acceleration to get away and keep going. Another well-blocked one for Carter, zone play where the Titans' defense collapses at just the point the play wants to go. So the Jets' left guard, number 75, can easily climb to the second level and hold up a defensive back masquerading as a linebacker. You can see when Carter gets to this point, he sees the only potential tackler who's free to come get him, safety Kevin Byard. On the dead run, Carter puts his right foot in the ground and changes his vector fast to get outside his downfield block. And then, well, he sees Byard seeing it, and he stops suddenly. He lets 3 Titans overrun the play and keeps going for another 10 yards. This is the kind of play, to me, that brings to mind Maurice Jones-Drew. Carter probably also isn't a complete burner. He's probably more quick than fast, but I don't know, maybe it's just a rite of passage for all rookie running backs to make Andrew Sendejo take a bad angle at the second level when he's trying to reach for you. And maybe this has all said a lot more about Andrew Sendejo than anyone else. Carter has gotten run down from behind as a rookie, for sure. He's certainly not slow. And he's also not powerful. I dare say Michael Carter belongs to the tiny bones community. And if his team ever makes him an every down player, I think they'll probably be doing him a disservice. Could he be Christian McCaffrey? Well, he hasn't shown that level of quicks or acceleration just yet, but McCaffrey's latest injury woes add one more element of risk into Carter's equation. In order to get the best out of him, the Jets or anyone else should make Michael Carter the lead part of a platoon. Limit him to 10 to 15, to the occasional 20 touches per game, and limit the play calling that creates a lot of contact. But Carter is a legit exciting prospect. Hey, a quick break to thank DraftKings for sponsoring us again. If you live in one of the states where Sportsbook is legal, it's a great promotion. New customers at DraftKings Sportsbook who bet just $1 on any team to score a single point in Week 13 can win $100 in free bets. If Sportsbook isn't available yet in your state, you can still play DFS. We love playing daily fantasy on my podcast, and any new account on DraftKings gets a free entry into a contest. You can win millions of dollars playing daily fantasy on DraftKings. In all cases, download that DraftKings app. Use the code HarrisTube. That will unlock all the fun stuff I'm talking about. Get a free DFS contest. If you live in a Magic state, turn a $1 bet on any team scoring a single point into $100 in free bets. Get the DraftKings app or go to DraftKings.com and use that code HarrisTube. Okay, so we're back to this countdown, and I think the number 3 rookie running back, if we did this all over again, Steeler fans might not like it. I'll put Najee Harris at number 3. I will stipulate I was a huge Najee Harris backer coming into this season. I thought he was the next great running back. We were finally going to get exploding onto the scene. Harris's production has been good. He is a good player. He's a starter quality running back, but I hoped he'd be electric and a true superstar, and I don't think we've seen that yet. Listen, I know all the caveats with Harris. The Steeler offense is falling apart. Ben Roethlisberger is at the end. The offensive line is average at best. And Harris had this high usage season, and it lets you know the Steelers believe they have a true workhorse. I'm not going to disagree with any of that. This is a 6'2", 230-pound man getting out in the screen game and making plays in the open field, and we're not going to overlook that. I don't think he's doing anything particularly electric here, but often we say big men in the open field have nothing to get around a defense, and that's not true in Harris's case. This kind of run has been Harris's bread and butter. This is a power play. This is a duo. 2 offensive linemen apiece are going to go stand up their respective 2 defensive linemen, and it's Najee's job to hit it up in there hard. A stiff-legged cut in there is fine. Nothing that really requires him to change direction all that much. Break a tackle, move the pile. And the reason the Steelers are mostly running these power plays is, sure, Harris can change direction a bit, but he hasn't shown the ability to cut sharply. We want him thinking north-south, get up to the hole, accept some glancing contact, and go further, make some safeties pay. It's no coincidence Harris is an Alabama kid. He's not quite Derrick Henry's size, but he has some Derrick Henry style in him for sure. Every running back gets avalanched sometimes. Everyone has bad days. We can always look at the offensive line. This is not me calling Najee Harris bad, but I watch a play like this, and I think the Steeler line has done some work here. I'd like Harris, right at this moment, to go left and seek his fortune over there. He chooses not to, and that's fine. I get it. It's easy for me to say. I'm not the one who's on the ground right there, but you can see that if he goes left, there's a chance for a bigger play. I know I'm holding him to a high standard, and I know it's easy to freeze a frame of one play and tell you that a guy should have seen something when he was going full speed. But if we freeze this one, isn't this one a pretty well-blocked play? I'm thinking of someone like Nick Chubb or Joe Mixon getting space like this. They're big backs who can really accelerate and big backs who can really cut. Wouldn't they get more than 2 yards out of this? Sure, the blocking breaks down and 3 tacklers are suddenly converging on him. I can't feel like a more dynamic back would have not been standing there to get hit like that. He'd have already slashed away to the right and maybe made number 91 there make the tackle on his own. This is another one where I want to see something in the way of acceleration or evasive action or something. That's some running room, and I'd want him to gain more than a yard here. Can you bounce left? Can you change direction kind of quickly? This is not a horrible play. It's hard to do what I'm saying, but I just did think that Harris came into the league with a reputation for more evasive action than he's shown. Now, I was really slow to love Derrick Henry too, and it just may be that my film evaluation isn't appreciating the potential that Harris has to wreck guys and, more importantly, withstand huge workloads and eventually just wear a defense down in a game. Harris could turn into that 30-carry monster who eventually is breaking big runs like this every week in the fourth quarter. For now, though, given what I've seen, I'm not as excited about Harris as I was back in August. And I gotta say, if you gave me my choice of monster rookie power backs, if I had to do it over, I think I'd take Rhamondre Stevenson first. I have no doubt that Stevenson has every bit the thumping, thundering power that Najee Harris does, but I'll show you a few plays here where you actually do see some of the quickness and acceleration and lateral agility that Harris might be missing. Stevenson went in the 4th round in April, 120th overall, and I firmly believe he'd go higher if we did it all over again. You want to tell me that Harris is better in the screen game? I don't know. I haven't seen him look as explosive as Stevenson does here on this little delayed screen where Rhamondre accelerates away from a D lineman, changes direction on the dead run to make two guys miss, another block in the back there, make another guy miss after that, and then another 1-2, and then thunder into two players. It's pretty good. You want power? I don't think you'll require much convincing there. Stevenson tips the scale north of 240 pounds. Here he gets good room at the line, breaks an arm tackle at the second level, and drags three guys 4 yards to close it out. But yeah, just in case you have any doubt, I think I can safely prescribe this one. Rhamondre Stevenson is a bad man. He wants to run you over if he can, and very, very often so far in his rookie year, he can. Yet I think he's got a little more than that as well. We saw it in the open field against the Cowboys. Another little screen on a delay, set up to basically get Stevenson one-on-one against a linebacker, Leighton Vander Esch. And oh, buddy. I mean, that's not Michael Carter quickness, but I say Stevenson does have some evasive creativity in his repertoire as well. He is, in the parlance, sort of nifty. He's got better feet than Najee Harris does. At the handoff of this power run, he will see Chargers linebacker Kaiser White standing in the hole that he wants to run through, so he will veer to his left, making White think that he's going that way, and then cut it back with a little jump cut after the block has been set up. I mean, I'm not telling you it's Barry Sanders, but he's a huge guy. As I said, I think it's pretty good feet for a huge guy. This one isn't any amazing result. It's a 5-yard gain, but let's freeze it as Stevenson approaches the hole. Ronnie Harrison is broken down in the hole, staring him in the face. And we're going to start it back up again in slow-mo. Take a look at the length of the step that Stevenson takes to jump outside Harrison with one step, which allows him to turn the contact into not full contact, but more like a glancing blow, so he can keep going and get positive yardage on a run that might have gone for nothing. And in case you were wondering, hey, can Rhamondre Stevenson go out and run a wheel route at 240 plus pounds? That's right. In fact, he can. I mean, you'd rather he didn't fall down at the end of it. He lost his footing there. This kid is an impressive athlete for his size. Damian Harris is there. I can't tell you how the usage is going to break down now or in the future. I'm just saying Stevenson's relatively limited film has been pretty great. But I gotta say that if we had to do it all over again, I think Javonte Williams would go first among the 2021 running backs. Maybe none of them should have been first-round picks. Maybe Travis Etienne is going to wind up blowing them all away in 2022. But Williams is the one whose film has looked best to me. He's platooned basically straight down the middle all year with Melvin Gordon, who's also played really well. And I don't want to tell you that Javonte Williams is a future best running back in the NFL, but he's consistently made the most happen in structure and on his own. I think he's been terrific. I think this play captures what's great about Williams and maybe some of his limitations. You can see as we freeze it, that's a nice sized hole. He just needs to get his feet organized and cut up into it and go. And Williams actually sort of trips himself, stumbles. He's not the most nimble-footed guy. He's not Michael Carter, right? But he's also not the least nimble-footed guy. He's basically falling down on his own for about 5 yards, and that's when the fun starts because time after time this season, Javonte Williams will not go down. He's not as big as Harris or Stevenson, but his legs are up there with James Robinson as among the strongest in the game. This run against a really good Ravens run defense probably shouldn't go anywhere, but will you just look at this guy? That's a 2-yard run that he turns into a 31-yard run on his own and gives Marlon Humphrey freaking piggyback while he's at it. Stereotypically, we categorize this under heart or want to, but I mean, they all want to. This is balance and leg drive, and it is absolutely uncommon. You can find one of these almost every week with Javonte Williams. On this one against the Cowboys, he's got Justin Hamilton, a 315-pound defensive lineman, grabbing him face-to-face, and he cannot wrestle him down. Williams basically treats him like a sled drill and loses him and keeps going. There just aren't a lot of running backs in the league who produce plays like this on tape on a weekly basis. Williams does other stuff too. He makes big plays. This one against the Steelers will be a misdirection pivot pitch out to get him on the edge. And number 39 there, Minkah Fitzpatrick, overruns the play. And if we watch Javonte's cut, I mean, a sharp cut really isn't his game, right? He's not out there to cut on a dime. But he does use the space he has to round off his cut, still makes Fitzpatrick miss, and then he's off to the races. He's going to get run down from behind because breakaway really isn't his game, but it's still a very nice run. This one against the Ravens, he sees things plugged up in the middle, and again, he doesn't really have like the cut off a 1 foot thing. He needs both feet to bring the ship around, but his acceleration's pretty good, and in this case, he had enough room to get horizontal and still be fast enough to turn it upfield. There are a lot of running backs in the league you just never want to see running parallel to the line of scrimmage. I dare say Najee Harris is one of them. Williams is not one of them. Similar one here against the Raiders, given some breathing room in the backfield. Not a sudden change of direction. It's not his game. He's 5'10", 220 pounds. He's built for balance, not for turning radius, yet still enough in the accelerator to lose some guys and get around the edge. And this little screen pass as a safety valve out in the flat just from this past Sunday, I mean, that's kind of a give-up play, like go get a few yards, kid. You wouldn't say his cut there is elegant. I mean, it actually looks like he kind of dislocates both of his hips trying to make a move. He completely stops himself. It's not his game. Changing directions, he's going to stop himself sometimes. And yet, okay, the change of direction isn't elite, but the acceleration absolutely is good, right? He bends his way around the corner. He gets going. 2 guys miss him, and he's off. Top end speed, not his main thing, but balance and power and strength and acceleration like this. There's really just one guy all this reminds me of. It's Mark Ingram. I think Javonte Williams is ready to be prime Mark Ingram, which is awesome. Ingram got caught up in some frustrating early career platoons, but at his peak, he was one hell of a player. So that's how I would re-rank those guys if we had it to do all over again, and that's the order I'd draft them in, but that's just based on what I've seen. I wonder if you have a different opinion. We'd love to know what it is. Give us your top 5 down in the comments. It's always fun to hear from all of you as well. We really appreciate you watching the video, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button, write a comment, tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on, and of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.